dealing with and how he's battling through it is having a positive impact out there. And it's not an easy thing to do physically, but even emotionally as well. You can see the toll that it's taken on him. So really proud of what he's done and just even getting to this moment.
Hey, good job. See the angle of the kid. All right, let's go get him.
Hey, one of the most fun parts for us about covering the USFL, we just got a little taste of it. That's the access that we can listen to what's happening on the sideline, the group meetings, the talks between the head coach and the quarterback. And as Lewis indicated, he'll be down there taking us inside and allowing us to take a peek at what's happening on the sideline too.
One of the adjustments made over the USFL offseason, moving the kickoff back to the 20-yard line through 1 week, it's had the desired effect. Above 90% returns, and so the action even more constant in the USFL.
Houston went cold last weekend in the second half against Michigan. They were outscored 20-0. That's why they come in 0-1. New Orleans had a different type of second half. It was tied at halftime. McLeod Bethel-Thompson, Anthony talked about him in the open, got really hot in the second half. They scored in the final moments. They win by 7, and they enter 1-0. Week 2 of the USFL season under sunny skies in Birmingham is underway, and Johnny Dixon lets that one bounce on the 3. Rolls around inside the 5. Now he better get back on that ball. And it's down there on the 2-yard line by defensive back Manny Bunch.
One of those adjustments they made, when the ball comes to a rest on a kick return situation, then it will go to the fielding team.
You've heard about him a little bit, the starting quarterback for the Breakers, McLeod Bethel-Thompson, age 34, the most experienced quarterback here in the USFL this season. Spent the last 12 seasons chasing his professional dream. You narrow it down to the right now, the only quarterback to enter week 2 after throwing for over 300 yards in week 1. He did most of that work, Anthony, in the second half. And on Sundays in the fall, we're used to quarterbacks throwing for 300 yards. But here in the USFL, it only happened 3 times in 10 weeks last year, so he is off to a hot start. Anthony Jones, his top tailback, struck right as he got past the line of scrimmage and makes it out to the 2-yard line after a gain of 1. Progressive starting lineup since he just carried the ball. Anthony Jones, he is a supplement to the passing game. It's a pass-first offense under John DeFilippo. But in the ground game and the passing game, he had 25 touches last week, easily the most in the USFL. Up front, it's a mix of new and old from last year in the offensive line. Inside their meeting rooms, they say right tackle Marquise Lucas played the best in week 1. Jones 2 carries in a row, also right back up the middle, just across the 5-yard line to bring up 3rd down and 7 for the Breakers. That was a gain of 3.
We've referenced the experience of McLeod Bethel-Thompson. It didn't show so much in the first half of the game in week 1, but one of the adjustments they made as you got into the second half, his passing numbers went through the roof, partly because they had a little more commitment to the run, and then that set up play action. There were so many play action opportunities against Pittsburgh that led to chunk plays.
Houston coaches mentioned to us they will come after him with the blitz. This time they rush only 4. Crossing route incomplete. And the Houston defense gets the job done there in the first series.
We good.
Good heat there on the pocket. Inside pass rush move from Raheem Bingham. Put the pressure on McLeod Bethel-Thompson.
Bethel-Thompson 17 out of 22 in the second half last week. And slow start here. We have the penalty marker coming out just before the punts. Referee is Larry Smith. You might recognize him from Saturdays in the Big Ten.
Number 22. Half the distance to the goal. 4th down.
How's the start for the Breakers going so far, Ann?
Well, I got to say, for New Orleans, you don't love having to punt from backed up, but I do like the fact that there's an early commitment to running the football. Their pass protection struggled so much, especially on the interior last week. Want to keep the defense on their heels.
Matthew White, 9 yards back there, quick release, and gets off a low end-over-end punt out of bounds. So the Houston defense comes through, and now the special teams for the Breakers off to a rough start. So Houston begins inside the Breakers' 40-yard line after a punt of only 35 yards. Kenji Bahar, second start of this season, started the last part of last season. Told us looking ahead in between week 1 to week 2, he said, number one, I would like to run the ball more, get more people in the box so I can have more one-on-one opportunities outside.
The offensive line, you could tell in their week 1 game, they began to get lathered up once there was a concerted approach to running the football.
No Mark Thompson, second week in a row, so TJ Pledger gets the start at tailback. Pledger, a little hesitation and a strong finish there. Still going across the 30 into the 25-yard line. One play and already a first down after a gain of 11. Progressive starting lineups for the Breakers. So we got this news, pardon me, for the Gamblers, just before kickoff. Leading runner from last year, Mark Thompson, didn't play in week 1, also not available in week 2. So TJ Pledger, excellent start to his game with the 11-yard gain. Will once again get most of the carries after he had 16 rush attempts last week.
180. 180.
First time to the air for Bahar. Inside the 10, a little bit too much to the 5-yard line for his 6'5" wide receiver, Kiki Chisholm. Good coverage from Michael Stevens.
Those are the opportunities that the Gamblers will have to be able to take advantage of in the game today. Because of how successful and how committed they've shown early in the season to the run game, more defensive backs drop down towards the box. There will be one-on-one matchups that Kenji Bahar can exploit.
You saw Curtis Johnson, the head coach for the Houston Gamblers. Over a decade coaching wide receivers for Sean Payton in New Orleans. Terry Wilson, backup quarterback, checks into the game. He gives inside to Pledger across the 25-yard line. And this is a plan for Houston, Anthony. That Kenji Bahar will play most of the time at quarterback, but they do have a package for Wilson to come in.
This ends up being a data point where you can continue to compile this throughout the season. You put it on film that even in the midst of a series, you're willing to switch the quarterback position. Bahar, not nearly as mobile as Wilson. So how does the defense react to that?
Kenji Bahar has checked back in at quarterback, the former Baltimore Raven. Third down and 8.
180. 180.
Linebacker blitz on the way. Good pocket. Complete to the 15-yard line, right at the line to gain. And he picked up an extra yard there. Josh Peterson, son of Doug Peterson, with the catch, gain of 8 to move the chains.
It's one of the things that having a big body tight end, 6'5", 235 pounds, the coverage from Greg Eisworth isn't bad there, but it just creates a bit of separation because of the physicality of the route. And a really accurate ball from Kenji Bahar.
Kenji Bahar said he likes throwing to Josh Peterson. He can be a slot, he can be out wide, or the traditional tight end. Was their top wide receiver / tight end a week ago. First and 10 now.
180.
Linebacker blitz again, quickly out of his hands, and a low offering. Bounced it to Justin Hall to bring up second down 10.
This is one of the elements of Kenji Bahar's game that will need to continue improving. The consistency of mechanics. That's a quick now route, which was going to turn into a bubble screen, but as a quarterback, you're not actually grabbing the laces of the football, and so it can be difficult to be as accurate as you'd like. Now we're seeing the adjustment made again. Terry Wilson back in at quarterback.
Great observation about not using the laces. We see quarterbacks have to do that all the time now. Wilson back in for his second snap. Pledger remains the tailback. Keeps it himself, right side, drilled in the backfield, and goes down to the 21-yard line. Shahid Salman, the third linebacker playing today, was in the backfield right away. Loss of 5.
The Gamblers will have to find a wrinkle when Terry Wilson's in the game, because up to this point, it's a huge key that you know they're going to run the football. The mesh point will be attacked, and when you attack it in the way that Shahid Salman did right there, get off that block, making a play in the backfield.
Expecting a lot of run, defensive coordinator John Tenuta going with 3 linebackers to start today instead of 2. And that third is Salman. Third down 16. They rush 5. Bahar in trouble and just floats that one out of bounds. It's a win for the Breakers pass rush.
We'll see throughout the game today how Eric Price, the offensive coordinator for the Gamblers, handles situations like that, because third and long, going drop back pass, can be a bit tricky for your pass protection. I'd still like to see the potential. We haven't seen them do it much yet. Go some sprint action, some boot action with Kenji Bahar. Even if you don't think you'll pick up the first down, you can make it a more manageable field goal.
Nick Vogel did not attempt a field goal last week, his first of the season from the right hash and 38 yards away. Off the uprights, and we remain scoreless.
Hey, here we go. Hey, media.
Breakers dodge a bullet. Poor offensive series, poor punts. But the Gamblers could not cash in with points. Nick Vogel with an almost. And we are just underway. Week 2 of the USFL season. John DeFilippo says, yes. Back to Birmingham. He's out after a tough first drive. He went 1 out of 4. Other side, John DeFilippo. Spent the last 10 seasons in the NFL with 6 different teams. Calling plays. Nothing new to him. He did so with the Browns, the Vikings, and the Jaguars. We will listen in as he calls plays on this drive.
6 right now. Nope, rolling single high.
McLeod Bethel Thompson 0 for 1. Lets it go deep down the right side. And well out of bounds. Never a chance.
This is the action that gave them a lot of success throughout the second half last week. Play action and a half roll. So now we see the Gamblers defense prepared for that.
Isaiah Pryor with the pressure, former linebacker at Ohio State and also Notre Dame. Back to the ground game. Nice hole and an opening there for Jones out near the 35-yard line. Isaiah Pryor with the tackle once again, but that gain is 7. You hear a lot about third and manageable, and here one comes.
Left 50 F Starbucks. Gun Gambler left 50 F Starbucks.
You got a guess on Starbucks, Ant?
50, the protection. Starbucks, I would imagine, will be a star route, which will work just beyond the sticks up the rails.
Floats one down the sideline. Johnny Dixon couldn't come up with it. And the Breakers start this game, Anthony, 0 for 2 on third down. Nick Grant with the coverage. Punting unit back on for New Orleans.
That ability by the Houston defense to get New Orleans behind the chains. Adjustment from week 1, teams getting film on each other, figuring out what their proper way is to adjust schematically.
Bethel Thompson near 80% the second half last week, starts this game 0 for 3. Matthew White gets that one away. Justin Hall backs up, backs way up. Lets it bounce at the 5. We'll see if it stays in and just goes into the end zone. Nice punt by Matthew White. A little under 7 minutes left in the first quarter. New Orleans happens to be coach's hometown, and there he is right there. Mike Nolan also on that staff, and Mike is a head coach for Michigan in the league. Look forward to reconnecting with him later in this season. Second offensive possession for Kenji Bahar, the quarterback for the Gamblers. Quick rollout, little sling past the 20. Second completion. Justin Hall thought he stayed in bounds. He did not. Gain of 1. So Curtis Johnson, all those years with wide receivers, and then you look at last week, Anthony, his wideouts, only 7 total catches for 70 yards. He and Kenji looking to get him more involved. Back-to-back completions to the wideouts, but only 1 total yard. That's Deontez Alexander. Loss of 1. Nice play, Neville Clark.
It was effective on first down when they called some sprint action for Bahar. It changes the launch point. The pass rush not able to get home. And Bahar throws it really effectively on the move. Like to see Eric Price throughout the game today. Stick with that.
Breakers defense #1 in the USFL last year in terms of giving up points. Off to a good start here. Third and long, 4-man rush, good pocket. There's a strike across the 30. First down Gamblers, Justin Hall. His second catch of this drive. Good for 12 yards as they move the sticks.
One of the ways Kenji Bahar is kind of next level is the way he's able to change his arm slot. This in cut is not easy to fit through traffic. The throwing window he finds is really capable because of the way that he drops his arm slot. Watch him change the elbow angle, get it around the head of one defender, over the top of the second level. Extremely accurate pass. Great grab by Justin Hall.
Quick release, too, there, and didn't need much from his lower body in terms of a step in, a little flick. Good for 12 yards to the ground game. Good cut by Pledger. Behind his pads out to the 40-yard line. Back-to-back successful plays there for Houston. Gain of 7.
It's not easy for quarterbacks to sustain their accuracy as they change the arm slot, but the game has evolved so much over the years that you see the best in the business. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is the one most known for it, but it's difficult to continue to be an accurate passer when you're making those adjustments.
Bahar on and off the Baltimore Ravens roster in 2021. Practice squad 1 week, released for 2, back to the active. Inside their building, they said they liked his smarts and athleticism. Anthony Ratliff-Williams in motion, right up the middle. And out near a first down. Vontae Diggs, outside linebacker with the tackle, gain of 3. And that's another Houston first down. That's Eric Price, the offensive coordinator for Houston, up in the booth. Former NFL assistant with the Jets, Chiefs, and Jaguars, and also was the offensive coordinator for head coach Curtis Johnson when he led the way at Tulane. Bahar flushed out of the pocket, lets it go. It was a right decision now inside of New Orleans territory. Anthony Ratliff-Williams did get the feet down. That's 3 first downs on this drive.
You played the position, Paul, but you can see how much more comfortable Bahar seems as he throws on the move. It cuts down the read. He's a very cerebral player, so he knows where he needs to deliver it with coverage.
Right back on the ball. And TJ Pledger met at the line of scrimmage, picks up 1. And Bahar didn't really get into a rhythm last week. He was barely over 100 yards passing. Wanted to get the ground game going here today to get more inside the box, and he has had a nice job here. 5 out of 8 so far.
And it's not a chunk run every time, Paul, but I do like the way that this offensive line has been impacting the game. They've been imposing their will on the Breakers' defensive front.
180. 180, son.
Back to the air. A little bit behind Peterson. Quite a bit behind. Incomplete. He did get one hand on it. Michael Stevens with the coverage.
We're going to go gun, red, right, stack, 25, or gun, red, right, stack, 24, scan, Z, fluty, Y, basic. Gun, red, right, stack, 24, scan, Z, fluty, Y, basic.
Stack, 24, scan, Z, fluty, Y, basic. On, ready?
And for that tight end matchup, we'll see if it's Josh Peterson again.
Hey, down 8, Mike 20. Hey, Omaha! Omaha! Ready, move!
3rd and 9. 6-man rush. They come underneath. Clint Sig had to go down to a slide to try and catch it incomplete, so a promising drive ends with a couple of incompletions.
And that time the Y was Clint Sig, who leaked out of the backfield late.
24, scan.
Those 3rd and long scenarios are difficult for most offenses.
Gamblers did get just inside of Breakers territory, but Andrew Gallett's on to punt it away. Jerry Elder, defensive back to receive the punt. Short end over end punt near the far sideline there. Didn't quite make it to the 10-yard line. Houston's offense.
And we're back in Birmingham. Still the first quarter. No score yet. Coach Don DeFilippo, trying to figure some things out here. I see you walking and pacing. What's your issues with the offense, and how do you get that going?
You start backed up. That's hard to do. It's got to punch it out of there. You had a backed up punt. That's not how you want to start the game. And then with a 3 and out, we just got to shore up our protection.
All right. How do you make a better pass protection? How do you get that better?
You just got to protect more people. And try to get the ball at the quarterback's hand.
Let you get back to it, Coach. Thank you, guys.
Lewis, Coach, thank you. 2nd week in a row, New Orleans off to a tough start offensively. They've run 6 plays for 10 total yards so far. They might get 10 right there out to the 20-yard line. And that's Wes Hills in for the first time this season. Brought down by Isaiah Pryor. Gain of 10.
Getting the football out of the quarterback's hands quickly would be key.
Protection, big issue in the first half last week as well, Anthony, when Bethel Thompson was sacked 4 different times. Not once in the second half. Good cutback there. Wes Hills with the pass catch, and now the run up the middle picks up 4 yards. Defensive end
11,
Reggie
11,
Walker
11,
brings him down.
11, 11, 11. Let's go Z short to gun, bunch left, 2-jet Tampa, X slant, halfback wide. Z short to gun, bunch left, 2-jet Tampa, X slant, halfback wide.
You can understand why it's difficult for quarterbacks to go from college to the professional level, just because of the verbiage that you have to get out in the huddle. Quickly out of his hands, Sage Surratt, the top tight end. Another first down out to the 40-yard line. You mentioned getting the ball out quick would be a good idea. They might be paying attention.
And in those scenarios, especially on 3rd down, when you have short yardage to go, that's where the crossing routes that we saw against man coverage can really free up your receiver to create the kind of space that they were able to exploit. They're trying to chase opposite colored jerseys all around the formation. Makes it really tough on the opposing defense.
Sage Surratt, all ACC wide receiver at Wake Forest, had 1 season there where he averaged over 100 yards per game.
Quarter.
So the last time Houston had the ball was their best offensive possession, and John DeFilippo's offense as well for the Breakers, having their best go so far. 1 quarter in the books. No damage on the scoreboard. We head to the second beautiful afternoon in Birmingham, looking for our first score between the Breakers in Birmingham. McLeod Bethel Thompson and his Breakers on the move with the ball. We go to the other sidelines and find Lewis Johnson.
All right, Coach Curtis Johnson coming out of the sideline there. I saw you talk to the players over here. What's been the message as you guys move to the 6th quarter?
Just keep going. We just got to keep going, keep doing what we're doing. We're running the ball well. Quarterback just step up in the pocket a couple times and just hit the open guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Well, on this drive for New Orleans, McLeod Bethel Thompson is hitting the open guys. They had 2 possessions heading into this drive where they had 10 total yards. Right now, this will be the 4th play of this drive. And they picked up 25, so they are moving. It took them a while to get rolling last week as well. In a game they eventually won against Pittsburgh. Safety blitz on the way. Bethel Thompson gets rid of it. A little bit too far out in front of Jay Adams.
You right there, Sage. I'll take you out of the backfield. You good?
Outside linebacker TJ Tyler knocking Bethel Thompson down.
Here we go, on the gold. Run straight right, 3-jet. On the gold, right, gold. 3-jet, gold.
Bethel Thompson coming off 2 excellent seasons in the CFL. Won the Grey Cup last season. Also led the league in passing. Another blitz. Gets rid of it quickly. Jay Adams has that one. Short gain. Ducks out of bounds on the 47-yard line. Gain of 6. Coverage provided by Nick Grant.
New Orleans has begun breaking the huddle a little more quickly. That's giving McLeod Bethel Thompson an opportunity to survey the defense before getting the ball snapped.
3rd down 4 coming up. The Breakers right now 2 out of 4 on 3rd down.
Go ahead.
Empty backfield. They get 5 out. Quickly to Surratt. Stretches out to the 47-yard line. Enough for a first down. Breakers now operating inside of Houston territory.
See more motion here from their offense, Paul. That's allowing McLeod Bethel Thompson, the Breakers, to dictate terms to the opposing defense. They went to an empty set, and with that, now you're trying to put the linebacker in conflict. Made it really difficult on Isaiah Pryor to get out there to the curl route.
Wes Hills, 50-45, picking up steam across the 35-yard line. Excellent job by the left side of that offensive line. Manny Bunch eventually made the tackle, but the Breakers get 12 yards.
Wes Hills goes about 220 pounds. Those legs were churning. Now some tempo from the Breakers.
2018 school record, 1,700 rushing yards at Slippery Rock. Play action to him. Bethel Thompson on the move and on the money inside the 25-yard line to D. Anderson. Gain of 10.5 ought to be enough for a first down.
Gotcha. Hey, 12. Hey, deep right slot, 98 horn. Deep right slot, 98 horn.
Deep right slot, 98 horn. On one.
You hear 12, Anthony. What's that say to you?
12, well, deep right slot, 98 horn. There's no 12 in that play call, but on the 98 horn, you're going to see an in cut coming from the slot receiver here.
12 should be one running back and a pair of tight ends. Wes Hills right up the middle. Strong finish to get inside the 20.
Punch, kill, 99 force. Punch to the 3-tech. Okay, flank left, 97 punch. Kill, 99 force.
Great job. Flank left.
Got it.
97 punch. Kill, 99 force.
Love the way they're varying tempo, Paul. There was a little bit of hurry up earlier in the series.
Yeah, we're good.
Now they've gone back to a huddle look. All the motion throwing the defense off.
Wes Hills again cuts it out to the left side. Likes what he sees. 10, 5. Touchdown Breakers.
Touchdown.
19-yard touchdown run for Wes Hills. And New Orleans leads 6-0.
Nice job. Yeah.
19-yard touchdown run by number 31, Wes Hills.
That run game for the Breakers did not get going in the game last week. We've seen them more committed to it this week. Paul Adams pulling out into the open field after the edge was set by Kirk Kelly. And Wes Hills continues turning those legs across the paint.
Had the vision where he saw something out to the left.
We need no lineman.
Yeah, the Breakers were one short there. Now they hustle it out. Matt Coughlin was a star last week, made all 5 of his field goals. Extra point is up and through. Well, the Breakers were nearly 70% pass in their win last week, but that drive was more about the run. Good mix, but in the end, Wes Hills spins his way into the end zone. 2019, he scored down Wes Hills. Little nifty spin into the end zone. McLeod Bethel Thompson saw a nice mix of the run and the pass on that drive. 42 yards on the ground, 43 yards in the air, and the Breakers are up 7.
Football blows off the tee. Breezy day in Birmingham, but MBT told us when we talked to him during the week that he really felt like with the verbiage, a lot of different formations and personnel groupings they do, that the second half last week they began to find a rhythm that he felt like they would build off of today. Certainly seems that way so far for the Breakers.
17 out of 22 in the second half and the game-winning drive as well. Matt Coughlin to Anthony Ratliff-Williams from his own 7. Not touched as he gets to the 40, cuts it back. That's why you like kickoffs in the USFL. Gamblers down 7. They will begin inside of New Orleans territory. A return of 45 yards.
Another opportunity with outstanding field position for the Houston Gamblers to start their series off. Anthony Ratliff-Williams extremely dangerous with the football in his hands. They haven't gotten it to him as much as a wide receiver, but this return game might be able to spark something for Houston.
Breakers defense has some things going for it coming into the season. They return their defensive coordinator, John Tenuta. Also their top 2 tacklers from last year, their linebackers, Fernandez and Diggs. Bahar, nice pocket, slings it out to the 40 and reaching out to the 37-yard line. Josh Peterson, his second catch, good for 8 yards.
A big day for Josh Peterson. The tight end position in general, I would imagine, Clint Sig, Brandon Barnes, they dress several tight ends. They'll get their opportunities.
Hey, let's go. 10 left, 30. Hey, 323. F loose. On one. Ready? Watch it.
Kenji Bahar off for a 6 for 11 start through the air. Still waiting for him to carry it for the first time.
180. Time out.
They were going to look to feature TJ Pledger
I couldn't hear the
in that
I
play.
called it fix left. I called it out of fix left. I said I called it out of I couldn't hear him. I called it out of fix left. Supposed to be fixed left. Tell him I can't hear him though.
He said he can't. You can hear him now? Go.
It's fixed.
It's
I tell you.
fixed. Go.
Gun fix right, 352, wide stick, F Lucy.
Go.
Here we go. Gun fix right.
Here we go.
352 wide stick. F
Gun
Lucy.
fix
On
right.
one. Ready?
352, wide stick, F Lucy.
So he made reference to his offensive coordinator in the booth. We just saw him there, Eric Price. He has a nice relationship with head coach Curtis Johnson. They were together at Tulane 2012 to 16 when Price was the offensive coordinator and Johnson was the head coach.
Ready?
Stick route will operate just beyond the sticks from the tight end. That's the wide position.
Good call, and on the money out to the 30-yard line to Justin Hall. Gain of 9.
Being ahead of the chains for an offense makes all the difference in the world. Your entire playbook is open to you. Flanker position, Riparian frame coming from the left. Get that one-on-one matchup. Nice, easy completion on the slant route.
We're listening to the communication between the quarterback and offensive coordinator. Keep in mind, in the NFL, that communication is shut off 15 seconds before the snap. They can talk all the way up to the snap here in the USFL. Back to the ground, struck right as he got across the 30-yard line. TJ Pledger, leading rusher last week, gains 2, get most of the carries this week without Mark Thompson for the 2nd week in a row. TJ Pledger, 3 seasons at Oklahoma. His last one at Utah was his best in college football, where he had 4 100-yard games 2 seasons ago. Pledger, a little hesitation, never really found what he was looking for. Stopped at the 26-yard line, gain of 2. And that'll bring up 3rd down and about 7.
I referenced data points earlier, Paul, when they rotate Terry Wilson into the game at quarterback, as they did on the last snap again, at some point, off that match point, I'm sure Eric Price has a play call for a pop pass from the QB.
Yeah. Hey, Mike 20,
Breakers
Mike
just
20.
put together their first scoring drive. Gamblers trying to respond. Bahar out of a nice pocket. Nobody home at the pylon. Kiki Chisholm was the wideout to his left, Anthony. He was thinking short, and Bahar was thinking long.
There's communication. You could tell how eager Kenji Bahar was, because he could tell he read man coverage on the back end, knew the matchups would be there on the outside. So Bahar goes into attack mode, but it's a side adjustment. And one thing that New Orleans has done really well, John Tenuta has his coverage rolling late, sometimes showing 2 deep safeties, rolling to cover 1. That was what they did there.
Nick Vogel 0 for 1. This is middle of the field from 44 yards. Distance not an issue. Accuracy no problem as well. Both teams are on the board. Breakers have a touchdown run. Houston has their first scoring drive. It ends with a long field goal, and they trail 7-3. Paul Burmeister, Anthony Herron in the booth, Lewis Johnson on the sideline. Beautiful afternoon here in Birmingham as we kick off week 2 of the USFL season. Johnny Dixon makes it out to the 33-yard line. And that's where McLeod Bethel-Thompson, 34-year-old quarterback for the Breakers, will begin after a gain or a return of 18 yards. Week 1, they didn't run the ball very well. As you can see, they averaged less than 3 yards per carry. Anthony, much different story here this afternoon. Over 7 yards per carry. And their one touchdown was a touchdown run from Wes Hills.
Offensive line working well in unison, but also the varying of tempos, getting in and out of the huddle quickly so their experienced quarterback can survey the defense and get them in the right play.
Wes Hills, the tailback, play action to him. And wide open at the 30, little room to run for Sage Surratt, his 3rd catch. Out to the 42-yard line, about a half a yard short of the first down.
And Paul, what we're seeing here, it used to be one of the most difficult things about facing Peyton Manning and the Colts offense. You don't have to be a great runner as a quarterback to be able to keep the opposing pass rush off balance. Show the play action, bootleg out. You just have to be able to move enough where the launch point varies. That's an adjustment New Orleans has made. It's been really effective against the Gamblers pass rush.
General Manager Ryan Jones, first-time GM. Head coach John DeFilippo, first time In that position, they go to the ground game and struck at the 42-yard line. Short gain. Let's see if he got enough for a first down. Needed a little more than one, and that's what he got to go first down. So you've got the head coach, GM, quarterback triumvirate. Important on every single team. John DeFilippo coached on the offensive side of the ball with the Giants in 2006. Ryan Jones was a scout. Now he's the GM. They're for the first time in their careers in their positions. They said we can't have a rookie quarterback too. The one they wanted was McLeod Bethel Thompson. They made the call. Thankfully, he wanted to come down. And that's the veteran piece of the head coach GM quarterback. Sets up. Wants to go deep, but comes underneath inaccurately. And he missed Wes Hills.
Surprising miss from McLeod Bethel Thompson, where he certainly got into rhythm in this game, but there were decisions, there were options that McLeod Bethel Thompson had. He was the CFL's leading passer, led his team to a championship.
Let's go hop the gun dice right, 2-jet, wide bingo, both hands, halfback burst.
Here we go, hop the gun dice right, 2-jet, wide bingo, both hands, halfback burst. All right, hop, hop, hop.
John DeFilippo and McLeod Bethel Thompson developed a relationship in Philadelphia. DeFilippo was quarterback coach in 2016, and McLeod Bethel Thompson was with him in training camp. Timing pass and missing wide to the left to Jay Adams.
Was hoping for the opportunity as Wes Hills came out of the backfield with a late release. Maybe he could have hit the running back out of the backfield.
Here we go. Gun for your left, 2-jet, sail, X-rat. All right. You got salsa.
Son of a gun. Did you think you threw that early, Doug?
I heard Flip ask, did he throw it early? He did. McLeod Bethel Thompson threw it a bit early the previous snap.
Third down and 10, in trouble. Escapes. Got some work to do across the 50. Leaps out near the sticks, and the ball came out. And the referee's saying he was down at the 48-yard line after a gain of 9. Be about a yard short. Here comes decision time for John DeFilippo.
Hey, 12 heavy west, 12 heavy west, 12 heavy west. Hey, gun, twins right classy, 34 strong tear on the speed break. Speed break, speed break, speed break. Gun, twins right classy, 34 strong tear on the speed break.
Gun, twins right, 34 strong tear on the speed break.
So you're going to see them operate from the shotgun, but the ball should come out quickly just beyond the first down mark.
Fourth and a yard, Wes Hills. No issues at all out to the 43. First down, New Orleans. Gain of 3.
11.
It's a back-to-back weak spot where McLeod Bethel Thompson has been leaping to try and pick up first downs.
You got the naked left. Here we go. Out of the gun. Here we go. Wristband 4.
We got a gun, dice right. Close. Step. Fake 38, naked left, wide slide, F sail. On one right. Over.
I love the naked left. Quarterback's keeping it. See if he has a good play action.
Get on.
Sage Surratt by himself at the 40. Breaks toward the sideline, cuts it back. Now he was whistled out of bounds. Good call, good execution for getting 12.
11. Hey, let's take a shot here, bud, okay? Hey, let's go gun, bonus right, 3-jet salsa, Congo pump, X-wrap. Gun, bonus right, 3-jet salsa, Congo pump, X-wrap.
Let's take a shot.
Back. He's back.
Gun, bonus right.
Okay.
Tight end Sage Surratt, 5 catches last week, already has 4.
So they're hoping from the bunch formation, they'll be able to dictate with their formation to get a shot play.
Retreating off his back foot. There's the 5th catch for Surratt. Good cutback. And an excellent finish out to the 20-yard line. Back-to-back first down receptions for the former All-ACC wide receiver. That one good for 11.
One technique, okay? Deuce right, 94 strong, kill over. Hey, deuce right, 94.
That's where the pass rusher gets frustrated because you get a good rush, get near the quarterback, and know you've affected the pocket. But Reggie Walker, even that pass rush heat, wasn't able to stop McLeod Bethel Thompson from getting yet another pass to Sage Surratt.
One of the benefits of a veteran quarterback, when he starts slow, you expect him to come back. He was 0 for 3, and he's 8 for his last 11. Nice job by the Gamblers' run defense there. Anthony Jones pushed backwards. Reggie Walker was there first.
As the drive has extended here, you can tell the defense getting a bit more tired, but they're really doing an effective job, still
Gun double right stack.
controlling the line of scrimmage at the point of attack.
Sage Surratt, 5 catches for 56 yards, split out wide to the left, just behind the 20-yard line. And he comes in short motion. Bethel Thompson out of his hands quickly. Surratt again, hesitation to the 10. It'll be first and goal breakers at the 7-yard line after a gain of 11 yards. Surratt brought down by a pair of safeties, Rutledge and Surratt.
Makes tough duty on the defense because Sage Surratt, they've been able to line him up all over the formation. That time they had him in the slot, just ran a quick drag route. It's difficult for the linebackers to stay with him. There's an all-ACC performer for Wake Forest as a wide receiver.
We've hit the 2-minute warning. The Breakers. Breakers quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson told us on Thursday that he started playing well in week 1 in the second half when he just took the easiest throw the defense was giving him. For a quarterback, that often means locating your tight end. And Sage Surratt already has 6 catches for 67 yards.
Huge half for Surratt. Also the running backs, Wes Hill, Anthony Jones, have both been involved in the passing game as well. So even though this opposing defense, the pass rush for the Gamblers probably feels like they're winning some of their one-on-one rushes. But even if you get home, the quarterback like MBT still getting the ball out of his hands.
Lewis.
Yeah, I was just talking to Sage Surratt as he was backing his way back over here to the sideline, and he said, listen, the defense for Houston is kind of laying off a bit, so those underneath throws are available, and that's why he thinks he's had so many catches. Now, they do have him off kind of on a pitch count because he looks kind of worn out and tired in his heat, but he'll be back out soon.
They call timeout. They call timeout.
Time here in the USFL season. Wes Hill's the tailback to the left of McLeod Bethel Thompson. He scored the first and only touchdown of this game to end the last drive for New Orleans.
Soko. Done.
And he's averaging 7 yards per carry. See if he can get 7 here. Hesitation at the 5. And doesn't make it any further. Outside linebacker TJ Tyler brings him down.
Part of that chess match once you get here to this area of the field. Inside 2 minutes to go. The clock management changes a little bit. You can tell John DeFilippo wanting to make sure he's going to leave the opponent the least amount of clock available for them to try and answer with a score before halftime.
Gang left.
Lewis Johnson made mention that Sage Surratt, the top receiver, was out. He is now in, lined up to the left, rolling out to the right. Pumping, thinking, and just throwing that one away. Good coverage by the Gamblers. Brings up 3rd down and goal.
Even going back to last season, Houston's been an effective red zone defense. McLeod Bethel Thompson not taking any big risks here as he extended the play laterally. On the back end, and the back judge even ends up throwing the hat on the ground, indicating the receiver ran out the back of the end zone. See him throw that hat down over there.
And the Breakers call timeout.
Guys, they can't hear me, guys. Where is the headset guy? Okay, 3rd and goal. 5. Hey, you like the Rubber Mario?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Or the one you just called, either one.
What's that?
The one you just called is great too.
I was calling the Rubber Mario. That's what I was calling the Rubber Mario.
So you called
66. 66.
Oh, all right.
66. Let's go 66. Wristband 66. Here we go.
Love it when the head coach asks the quarterback what he likes.
And I wonder how many times this season there's going to be a coach yelling, "Where's the headset guy?"
Right out front, F Disco, 53 Rubber Mario. Right, long motion, gotta go. Grizz right out front.
Yeah, right.
Going right, you're going right.
Not Super Mario, just Mario.
Told us the first veteran quarterback he could have conversations with, Carson Palmer, with Oakland back in 2012. Bumping. What a one-handed catch there by Jones, but brought down right away on the 10-yard line. Inaccurate throw leads to a loss of 4.
Hey, JD, you pop.
And an easy decision now to go for a field goal.
And Reggie Walker penetrating up into the backfield the way he did, it actually knocked Anthony Jones off of his wheel route where he was trying to swing out of the backfield. That gave the additional time that was necessary to get Deion Lake in position for the tackle.
Excellent work there by Deion Lake. Brings out Matt Coughlin. You see right there, he was a star last week, made all 5 of his field goals, longest one from 52 yards out. This one plausibly a little bit easier from the left hash from 27 yards out.
An exceptional career for the Michigan State Spartans as well.
All-time leading scorer in East Lansing. So Wes Hills has a touchdown run for New Orleans earlier in the second quarter. Try to tack on a Coughlin field goal. Low line drive counts for 3 points. Consecutive scoring drives for New Orleans to put them up 10-3. McLeod Bethel-Thompson takes a rest. We'll see what Kenji Bahar can do. McLeod Bethel-Thompson, just like last week, sensing his offense getting better as the game gets longer. Consecutive scoring drives. The last one ended in field goal. The one before with a touchdown. He's 10 out of 17 for 84 yards. And Anthony, he has really benefited from a running game that's been more than just a distant supplement this week.
They're keeping the opposing defense off balance. You know, the variety that this playbook is throwing at the Gamblers right now, where initially it seemed like Chris Wilson, their defensive coordinator, had a good bead on New Orleans offense. Not so much anymore.
Deontez Alexander from the 15. Not touched till he gets to the 40 and makes it out to the 42-yard line. You saw Lewis Johnson sitting down there next to McLeod Bethel-Thompson. Lewis, take it away.
Yes, I'm getting a little lesson here on the tablet as you go through this. Let's talk quickly about the first half. How do you like, what do you like about the way your team kind of got things going with tempo and, of course, the run game?
Yeah, what we love is the run game's moving the ball. I mean, that's beautiful to see. Wes is running the heck out of the ball, and we're starting to get some feel up front. So that's always a quarterback's dream, is to have a good run game. So that's exciting to see. We need to finish that last drive right there. That 3 points is just not enough right there. We're just this close away. You know, again, I think maybe a better start than last week, but still not where we want to be, man. We want to push it. We're really close to being a dominant offense, and just those little details. So we're going to keep working.
What were you seeing that made the tight end Sage Surratt become so available to you for those multiple catches?
You know, they're playing a lot of single high right now. They're playing a lot of man, so we're outflanking them in the flat. So Sage just does such a good job of getting out and knowing where he's at in space. So we're outflanking their defense right now. Their linebackers and safeties are getting caught inside. So he's a heck of a football player, so happy to get him going.
And what are you looking at here?
It's just the last drive, so I'm just going through the last drive. I missed 2 throws early in that drive. It was disappointing, so just kind of learning from those and moving on and hopefully dialing up something here. Maybe we get the ball before the half's out here.
Yeah, a few seconds left. McLeod, thanks, man.
Absolutely, appreciate it.
Guys.
Kenji Bahar has the Gamblers offense on the move. That was a strike to Justin Hall. And just like that, it's first down and 10 to the 25-yard line. Bahar looking left, firing that way. Open receiver, perfectly placed. Touchdown, Justin Hall. Have a drive, Kenji Bahar. 3 out of 3 leads to 6 for Houston.
Kenji Bahar can be a bit streaky, but when he's on, he is on. They set the drive up with an easy completion early, and now you go to the slot fade. Justin Hall able to defeat the coverage of Michael Stevens one-on-one. Bahar drops it in the bucket. Couldn't have gone out and handed it to him any more accurately.
His head coach, Curtis Johnson, told us during the week, you know, he does a good job of making the right decisions, getting us in the right formations, just need to be a little bit more accurate. He couldn't have thrown that ball any better. Nick Fogel makes it a 7-point drive and makes it a tie game at 10. What a response by Houston.
It's my anticipation, Paul, that a player like Kenji Bahar in his second year in this league, he's got multiple offensive linemen, multiple wide receivers that he's now playing with for the second season in a row. And so you'll just see offense around the USFL continue to grow this year as players are getting more accustomed to each other, as play callers are figuring out what exactly are the strengths of the team they're working with.
Justin Hall with that touchdown, and his resume is a perfect example of what we have at playmaker in the USFL. All-time leading receiver at Ball State. Spent time with the Las Vegas Raiders in camp and just couldn't quite make it, and looking for an outlet for the talent and the experience, and as they say, to put something on film. Nice thing to have on film right there.
You and I have obviously called so many games, so many seasons over the years. There are countless talented football players available to continue honing their craft. There are only so many jobs in the National Football League out of the 32 teams. So that's where the USFL is special, giving opportunities for these players to continue to be special.
They get a wide receivers, Johnny Dixon from Ohio State from his own 14. Breaks one tackle and couldn't make it out to the right side. Goes down middle of the field at the 36-yard line. All tied at 10. McLeod Bethel Thompson was just talking to Lewis. Now we'll see if he can lead his offense to one more scoring drive.
He did tell Lewis he was hoping they would get one more drive. Here we go.
Hey, let's go gun. Chips right. Let's go 3-jet chip. Gun trio right. 3-jet chip.
Gun trio right. Gun trio right. 3-jet chip. Hammerhead. I'm ready.
Has 2 timeouts left. Had an 0 for 3 start to this game. Has completed 10 out of his last 14. Nice pocket. Surratt, 7th catch. Ripped down at the 44-yard line. And they use one of their 2 timeouts. Kalen Tolson with a tackle after a gain of 7.
They've been utilizing that trips formation, Paul, mainly to the field side. Okay, Sage Surratt's been really effective in his release, showing a little bit of patience, delaying before he comes off the ball.
One left. Hey, let's go gun trailer left. Hey, gun trailer left. Let's go 2-jet sail X-wrap. Gun trailer left. 2 salsa sail X-wrap.
Gun trailer left. 2-jet salsa sail X-wrap. Already.
I hear Sale, Anthony. That's one of these receivers at about 15 yards from one side of the field to the next.
And there'll be a route shorter than that as well, a levels concept to the wide side of the field.
In trouble, and down he goes. Bethel Thompson sacked at the 30-yard line. Ron Hain Bingham, loss of 13. Clock ticking.
Go to the half. Here we go.
Probably the right call.
Don't have to wonder when you can hear the coach give the instructions to the sideline.
Exceptional pass rush from Ron Hain Bingham. That inside pass rush move has been really effective for him in the first half. Gets that offensive tackle on an island. Able to finish with a little ferocity at MBT. There was actually salsa in the play call, and he did a little salsa dance afterwards.
Anthony, they were just warming up in that first quarter. For scoring, for salsaing in that second quarter, that's when we saw all 20 points. What a finish for Kenji Bahar and Justin Hall to make this 10-10 at halftime. This is week from Stu. They have the momentum with that touchdown pass, and they get the ball right back here.
I was talking about it in the open of the show, getting some easy completions to Kenji Bahar. They did that to start off the drive with a quick flip to TJ Pleasure.
Anthony Ratliff Williams out of North Carolina, out to the left side, leaps one tackler and another, and out to the 47-yard line. Terrific field position for the Gamblers. They've got the momentum from the last touchdown drive, and after a 34-yard return, they have the ball almost inside of Breakers territory.
Field position has certainly gone the advantage of Houston over and over again throughout the game. Finally saw them late in the second quarter finish one of those drives with a touchdown.
Common theme for both quarterbacks there in that second quarter. They were better in those 15 minutes than in the first quarter. Kenji Bahar starts this half 10 out of 16 for a $110. TJ Pledger hit in the backfield and makes it out to the 45, but that's it. A loss of 1. Getting the start today, the outside linebacker Shahid Salman, because John Tenuta, defensive coordinator, was expecting a heavy dose of the run.
They've handled it well, has New Orleans in the game here.
Hey, come on!
An offensive line for Houston that you can tell they like to impose a physical will.
Hey, hold on. Hey, we're going to flood right there. Z, hey, waggle 5, X pylon, Z spirit. One, right?
Waggle normally means the quarterback is going to be on the move in some way.
180. 180.
Sets up, in trouble from the backside and ripped down. Sacked at the 37-yard line by Henri Saint-Amour, and a loss of 8.
They were disjointed, even attempting to break the huddle. You could see the dis-ease from the offensive line. A short set from Avery Genesee. Was expecting Kenji Bahar to be on the move, a little wider path than that. The operation of Houston isn't as clean early in this game as what it's been from New Orleans. Getting in and out of the huddle, getting lined up.
They're down at 18. They have to get down to the 44 of New Orleans. Good pocket over the middle, strike to the 50, and down to the 43-yard line. Boy, third down at 18 doesn't have too many good calls, but hitting Kiki Chisholm in stride for 20 works.
It feels like a small thing, Paul, but when you get the play call succinctly, you break the huddle as a unit and get to the line of scrimmage, things tend to shape up in a cleaner manner. Pass protection holds up, so sound here, and Bahar, with good mechanics, throws an accurate ball to move the sticks.
Bahar awfully comfortable in that pocket. Good job by his offensive line. Good cutback there to get out to the 38-yard line was TJ Pledger. Gain of 4, and not a lot of opening for him, averaging about 3 yards per carry so far.
And they'll stay committed to the run game. That's the personality that Curtis Johnson wants here with this offense, and I like it. What they need to play off of it, though, is more of what we saw late in the second quarter. Play action with some deep shots.
Hey, Mike 4. Here we go, ready? 180. 180.
Again, play action across the middle. Running by himself is Anthony Ratliff Williams inside the 10 and into the end zone. Big theme on that drive, accuracy over the middle from Bahar to his wideouts.
They got Anthony Ratliff Williams on the move. Man coverage has been there throughout the game. We've now seen the Gamblers offense go into attack mode, throwing the ball more vertically.
Nick Vogel now with a chance to make it a 7-point lead for the Gamblers. The team that got shut out in the second half last week coming alive here. Back-to-back drives and with touchdown passes from Kenji Bahar. First to Justin Hall, and that one to the former Tar Heel, Anthony Ratliff Williams. Good stiff arm into the end.
Late in the first half. Tell me about that and how you translated it to the beginning of this third quarter.
I mean, we just finished off a good 2-minute drive going into the half, up-tempo, which we didn't really do that much in the, the beginning of the first quarter, second quarter. Once we started, finishing out that second drive going into the half, I think we just kept that momentum going, our first drive.
It was pretty sweet. You got quiet all of a sudden over here. What happened to all the jumping around and screaming? You guys excited about scoring the touchdown the way you did?
Absolutely, man. We treat those as regular plays, man. We got a really talented receiver group. So we go out there and make plays. As long as the ball's in the air, we know what we're going to do with it.
Okay, so once you had the ball and you were kind of snaking down the sideline there, it was close to a tackle and the sideline was right there. So what were you thinking about a move you might make to get on by?
Oh, man, you got in your bag right
Come on, tell the truth.
Honestly, I gave him a little hop step thinking like he's vulnerable, so I didn't know what I wanted to do to him, but a little stiff arm to get the trick, so it's all good.
Track and field hurdling?
For sure.
Great connection, guys. Good luck the rest of the way. All right.
Little stiff arm to do the trick.
He had options.
Bethel
Love
Thompson
the confidence.
On the move. Johnny Dixon just with a kickoff return. Good cutback across the 40-yard line, and just enough for a first down. Gains 11. And by the way, Kenji Bahar, see if he can stay hot. Last 2 drives, the quarterback for Houston, 5 out of 5 and 2 touchdown passes.
You're seeing consistency of the mechanics of Kenji Bahar, extremely accurate the last couple of series here, but some easy completions got his confidence going.
Johnny Dixon with his first catch. Wes Hills, 1 touchdown already. That came in the second quarter. Just to the right of Bethel Thompson. Larry Smith is the referee.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And been a pretty clean game so far.
From a penalty perspective, without a doubt. The quick game is normally what New Orleans has gone to try and get a drive restarted, which they'll have to do after the penalty.
Quickly out of his hands, drives one down the right side. Perfect pass. Right on the money to Johnny Dixon. Bethel Thompson to Dixon. First down and a gain of 28 yards.
People tend to assume, Paul, that you have to hold the football for a long time to attack vertically. You really don't when you have a quarterback who knows what he's seeing. This whole shot from McLeod Bethel Thompson, throwing it beyond the corner but in front of the safety, right in stride to Johnny Dixon.
It's so well done and so difficult because you have that split second when he gets past the corner and before the safety can cover him up. Right back to the air, trying to set up the screen and just floats that one away. Wes Hills was covered. Brings up second down 10. Nick Grant, the corner, had that one sniffed out.
The word momentum gets used a lot, and it really just comes down to confidence. And now you're seeing the Houston defense, where the opponent, the Breakers, were dictating terms to them throughout much of the first half. Now that they have a lead, they're playing downhill. They're the team playing with confidence and urgency.
And what a step forward for the Houston defense, Anthony. Remember last week, Michigan quarterbacks completed 23 out of 25 passes. Right now, Bethel Thompson, 13 out of 21. This drive has been all about the pass. Steps up on the move. Nice catch at the 20-yard line and down to the 19. Jared Scott. Big tight end with his first catch, 15 yards.
It's very subtle from McLeod Bethel Thompson, but climbing the pocket vertically while keeping his eyes down the field. Makes a big difference for a quarterback. That pocket begins to break down a little bit, so he climbs vertically, keeps his eyes up where he can get it to Jared Scott. Huge target up the middle.
When you're stepping up on the move like this as a quarterback, it's difficult to bring that ball down. You have a tendency to shoot it high. That's a terrific job by Jared Scott at 6'5" to go up and get it. 1 for 4. Both have heated up since.
We're watching Kenji Bahar in the midst of the best game of his young USFL career. And no surprise, McLeod Bethel Thompson has thrown for so many yards throughout his.
That was a look at the quarterback comparison brought to you by Allstate.
It's interesting, Paul, comparing the two. I mean, the more experienced guy and the younger guy both have benefited from play callers that have taken pressure off of them. Not just mental pressure, but even the physical pressure is taken off with some of the play calling.
This is a drive right now for New Orleans. It's been all about the pass, but here's Wes Hills. A little daylight off the left side and down to the 13-yard line. It's a good thing when you're not touched until you get past the linebackers. Gain of 7.
Really like the way Wes Hills runs the football. There's a lot of forward lean to it. Runs with urgency and tempo. It gets a rhythm with the offensive line as the blocking scheme times up for him.
John DeFilippo, head coach, also offensive coordinator here for the Breakers. Calling plays on game day just like he has with the Browns, Vikings, and Jaguars in the last 10 years. Hills again. Good cutback and another cut. Down to the 7-yard line. 2 solid runs in a row there for Hills. That one for 5 yards and a first down.
New Orleans made an adjustment in their offensive line during the game last week where the interior was struggling. They put Kirk Kelly, 79, into the lineup at left guard. We've seen a big difference. The second half of last week's game, the first half, and into the third quarter today. That offensive line performing at a much higher level.
Good job mixing the run and the pass by Coach DeFilippo. All about the pass, getting inside the 20. And now leaning on the run to set up 1st and goal. I formation, Hills trying to turn that corner. Does inside the 5. Reaches for the end zone, and he got there.
Touchdown run by number 31.
It's a huge development for New Orleans that this drive and the flow of the game turned behind their offensive line. Zone blocking scheme, being able to work laterally in unison, and then when you can maintain that block, sustaining the point of attack, you see the force that Wes Hills brings into the second level.
Wes Hills had a game for the Lions in 2019 where he scored a pair of touchdowns on the ground, and that's his second today. Matt Conklin on to attempt the extra point. Yeah, congratulate your teammates there. You ought to find his way over to the offensive line there on the sideline.
Yeah.
And that scoring play under review, just like all scoring plays are. And I would imagine, Anthony, they're taking a look to see if he did get that ball across the pylon. Mike Pereira will take a listen in as he watches what was called a touchdown.
You know, Larry, when I'm looking at this, I thought it was a touchdown initially because he does get the ball inside the pylon, but his right foot actually steps out of bounds before he extends the ball over the pylon. So he is short. So we're going to reverse this to being short. We're going to put the ball, at the half-yard line? Put the ball at the half-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and goal from the half-yard line.
Got you, Mayday. Thank you. After further review, the runner was short of the goal line. It will be 1st and goal from the 1.5-yard line, left hash. Correction.
How cool is it
down.
that we get to hear directly from Mike Pereira as he's talking through it, going through the review process. I couldn't agree with the call more. I mean, it's right on point. Hills was very near that pylon, but you see, as Mike Pereira described it, the right foot, those toes are touching out of bounds before the ball, and you get the goal line extended, but before it actually crosses inside the pylon.
Hills gets another chance here, pushed back, and he didn't get there. It'll be 3rd down and goal after no gain there. Johnny Dixon comes in, and they have him set up awfully well for any kind of play action if they want to fake this run, because the run has been successful here on this drive.
Thinking the same exact thing, Paul. You wonder if you want that pride to be able to have the offensive line finish this drive off with force, as it looked like they were in position to do previously. Or do you try to outflank the defense?
Hills is the tailback.
Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So now maybe that play action does come into play.
This is why defensive coaches tell their guys to chase the ball every single time. You live to fight another down.
Guns in left open, Z left, 200 jet keystone. Hey, you're working on 25-second clock here.
Over 54 clock, over 54 clock, right?
A jet is normally a pass play protection.
Jet left. Motion to it, motion to it. 200 jet, 200 jet. Go, 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 go. What, 20?
Looking left, firing left. Sage Surratt secured it. Touchdown Breakers.
Strong hands by Surratt. Got the matchup they wanted. He did appear to survive the ground, at least in live action.
TJ Tyler, former Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year, in coverage there, and it's a wonderful throw, and as you mentioned, Anthony, strong hands there to hang on.
Been talking about Surratt throughout the game. Mr. Football and Mr. Basketball in the state of North Carolina, coming out of high school.
Extra point is up and in. Say that again. Player of the Year in hoops as well.
Oh man, Mr. Football and Mr. Basketball. See that hoop game on display.
Sage Surratt has a game best 8 catches. Already his most recent good for 6 points. Breakers and the Gamblers going back and forth. Pretty good pass and an excellent catch. Was a terrific receiver in the ACC at Wake Forest. Had a 1,000-yard season. Easily the most successful pass catcher today. Hanging out with our Lewis Johnson. We'll give a conversation from them in a moment. But he has 8 receptions, just under 10 yards per catch, Anthony. And the most recent scoring grab as well.
Looks warm on the field. I hope Lewis is getting some water, staying hydrated while he's down there too.
He's finding some pretty good seats.
Yeah, man, he's got a great vantage point.
We didn't have a single point in the first quarter here, and both quarterbacks, McLeod Bethel-Thompson and Kenji Bahar, came alive in the second quarter. They've gotten even hotter in this third. And we are all tied up at 17.
I still feel like both defenses are playing well. We're seeing quality offense enhancing throughout the game.
Deontez Alexander from his own 15. Spins out to the left, finds some room. Late penalty flag does come in as he makes it to the 15-yard line, and we'll check in with referee Larry Smith.
We're going to go hold from here at number 8. Yep, yep.
I don't know
During the return, holding, receiving team number 8. 10-yard penalty, the spot of the foul. First down.
It looked like Lewis had a pretty good spot there on the bench. Let's go ahead and check in with him on the sideline.
Enjoying hanging out here and chatting with Sage Surratt about family, basketball, and, of course, football. You've had a big day. Things were opening up for you in the first half. What was happening there that allowed you to catch all those underneath passes in the first half?
They was going a little bit of cover 3 carry, so everybody was kind of sinking back, and all the stuff underneath was kind of open.
Yeah. So we get down to that last series. We thought we had a rushing touchdown, and then it came back to you. What did you see, and how did you make your way into the end zone with that ball and hold on to it?
They went man coverage right there. So I mean, when the quarterback gives you a chance to make a play on the ball in the red zone, he trusts you with it, so you got to make that catch for him.
What does this USFL experience mean to you in your career in this game?
It's been great. It's a great opportunity. You know, thank you to the league for this hasn't been around for a while, so it's great. You know, just to be playing football again and get another chance.
You got a dream still on fire here for you?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
What are they?
Get back to the NFL.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. And your family's watching from where?
They're watching from South Carolina. Let me say hey to my mom real quick.
Right there.
Hey, Mom.
That's it?
I love you, Mom.
All right, there you go.
I only told her I was going to say hey to her, but I love her, though. All right. Thank you.
He said it, hey, Mom.
He did. Man of his word.
Veteran move there. Bahar rolls out to his left, fires away. Making sure he got in the I love you, Mom.
Right.
It's a good touch. It's Sage talking about his dream staying alive. He spent time with the Lions and also the Chargers in training camp. He's been around the NFL, hasn't really made it and stuck, and you can say the same thing about so many of these players.
He's obviously a gifted athlete. We're seeing that on display today. Football family, his brother Chaz, linebacker with the New York Jets as well. But there's guys who can play the game at a high level, getting the opportunity to do that in the USFL and hone their skills.
Here you go. Ready? 180. 180.
Bahar gives up the middle to Pledger. Good cutback there to get out to the 47-yard line. Will bring up 3rd down and 6.
Money down!
The tight ends with John DeFilippo, either as a quarterback coach or offensive coordinator in the NFL from 2012 to 2021. He's had some quality outlets before he got to Sage Surratt.
A lot of catches, yards, a lot of 50-50 balls that turned into 80-20 balls from the men on that screen.
Hey, Mike Ford.
Meanwhile, important 3rd down and 6 here for Kenji Bahar. Back foot intercepted. Cutting it back and trying to work his way out of the tackle is Alex Thomas. But late and outside is never a good idea for a quarterback, and Kenji Bahar pays the price there.
You telegraphed it, Paul. You knew they wanted to attack the sticks as opposed to going vertical. As Kenji Bahar took the snap from center, he eyed that stack route the entire way.
The penalty marker on the field will eventually get the call here from Larry Smith.
He's not in uniform.
From Houston?
From Houston. He came off the bench and pushed that criminal, punched him in the face. Pushed him in the face.
Push him in the face.
Yeah, unsportsmanlike. Fix.
Where's the end of the run?
Stop it.
I see the guy, just let me look for a second. And he pushed the opponent player. Let's see. Let me just stay with it a second.
Hey, stay here, stay here.
It's the voice of Mike Pereira.
Absolutely. So he just comes off the bench area onto the field and shoves the guy, shoves the opponent. Okay, I want him out. I want him out of the game. No, he's not a 66. He's this player here in the T-shirt. So you got a 15-yard penalty, and then I want him out of the bench area, period.
After the interception, during the dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on the bench of Houston, this player has been ejected from the game. 15-yard penalty, 1st down, media timeout.
So no number given for the Gamblers player who was ejected, but one of them did come off the bench. You heard Mike Pereira explain it, as well as Larry Smith. The 15-yard penalty, and there he is right there. Not active for today. Just before the break from the Houston bench, this player you see circled there, inactive today, comes onto the field after the interception. and pushes Breakers linebacker Jared Fernandez right there. 15-yard penalty, and Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles also has asked to have him ejected from the game. Mike is with us now. Let's go to the Rocket Mortgage Replay Center. Mike, what did you see there?
Yeah, I'm not going to tolerate a player who is not in uniform, who is inactive, going out on the field to contact an opponent. I think it's one of those I really look at as an automatic ejection, no matter how hard or how severe the push is. I don't want inactive players coming out on the field to get involved. So it's the right call, and I think the ejection is right also.
Mike, thank you very much. McLeod Bethel Thompson on the move to the left. The ball is caught. We'll see if Johnny Dixon remained in bounds. Looks like he did. And the passing game gets off to a good start. And I like how Mike had conviction with that right away. Before the break, we were listening to his interaction with the referee, Larry Smith. And he didn't waffle at all. Right away, he said, I don't want him there.
And to have that from a player who's out of uniform coming off the sideline, certainly get the impression if that were an active player for the game, perhaps the way that infraction was adjudicated would have been slightly different. But different standards for players of different situations here. It makes sense.
Wes Hills has been hot second and third quarter. Alley around the left side inside the 10 and shoved out of bounds inside the 5. Isaiah Pryor, outside linebacker, eventually got to him, but Hills picks up 15 yards to set up first down and goal.
The defense turning to offense here for the Breakers, and their offensive line continuing to work so well together. The ball handling in the backfield by McLeod Bethel Thompson, making every run action look the same from the quarterback position. That delays the linebackers for a moment as well.
Hills over 3,300 rushing yards in Delaware as well as Slippery Rock. First and goal, Hills head down and inside the 1-yard line. Getting closer to that goal line, gain of 2. He's also getting closer to a 100-yard game, 13 carries for 85 yards.
And Hills wasn't necessarily the back who was expected coming into the game to make the biggest impact. Anthony Jones, an excellent pass receiver out of the backfield, but we're seeing Wes Hills impose his will on this action behind that mammoth offensive line.
Hills and Jones, 17 carries combined for 96 yards. Jet sweep to Dixon, drilled in the backfield. Big loss out to the 6-yard line from Princeton. TJ Tyler into the Breakers backfield for a loss of 4.
It's a difficult call sometimes for a coordinator. Do you continue to ram it away at the interior of the opposing defense? Here, they decide to attack the exterior. Such a great reaction from TJ Tyler. They're just on a seek and destroy mission into the opposing backfield. That was his one assignment. He performed it at a high level.
The Breakers saw Houston take a 17-10 lead early in this third quarter before they tied it. Now a chance to go up top. Bethel Thompson to the end zone, strike. Touchdown, New Orleans. Johnny Dixon.
It's worked out pretty well for New Orleans when they lose a few yards from inside the 5. That allows them to drop back and throw the football. The last 2 series, the very next play after a loss of yardage has been a touchdown grab.
As a quarterback, Anthony, you are told if you have time in the pocket, you're near the end zone, back of the end zone, that back line is where you can make some money, and that's a great route. And Bethel Thompson put it right on him.
It's not easy with an outside release over the top of the receiver there to stay in bounds. Great footwork from Dixon.
Bethel Thompson was 17 out of 22 in the second half last week in the come-from-behind win. And he's a solid 17 out of 25 today, and the former Buckeye on the receiving end there.
You're hoping as a defender that you can force the quarterback to complete the most difficult pass on the field. And Manny Bunch, because he forced the outside release from Dixon, he initially did his job, but MBT on the same page with Johnny.
Johnny Dixon, the last 3 games of Ohio State career. Anthony, how about this? Against Michigan, Big Ten title game in the Rose Bowl. He had a touchdown in all 3 of those Ohio State wins. And his touchdown here as the Breakers back up by 7.
Story of perseverance for the career of Johnny Dixon. Those initial seasons in Columbus, had knee injuries each of those first 3 years. Responded well with such a strong finish to his career like you referenced.
Defense to offense working well there for New Orleans. They had the interception from Alex Thomas, set him up inside of Houston territory, and quickly thereafter, after some successful runs, Dixon with a touchdown catch. This is Anthony Ratliff-Williams, and out to the 40-yard line. Time now for the report, brought to you by U.S. Bank. Kenji Bahar, slow start here after the loss last week when they didn't score a touchdown in the second half. And today, 12 out of 20, buck 68, a couple of touchdowns. It's mostly good, and this was just before halftime. An excellent touch pass to Justin Hall. That was in the final minute of the first half, and then he responded well early in the third quarter. Anthony Ratliff-Williams, the catch and the run for a score. But his last pass, Anthony, was an interception. We'll see how he responds. Quick feet in the backfield gets him out to the 43-yard line. TJ Pledger, gain of 3. Lewis.
Yeah, quick
for Mark Thompson. Coach's decision last week that he didn't play. We thought he would play today, but inactive. And then he checked after coming onto the field to shove Jared Fernandez. Late flag onto the field. Thompson's replacement, TJ Pledger, has run out of bounds after a gain of 3.
It's going to be on the right tackle. The Ty Rogers with a hold.
Holding offense, number 51. Change your play from the spot of the foul. Second down.
What about the horse call? Hey, that's a big limit.
But with Kenji Bahar, Paul, and really this Houston offense as a whole, turnovers have been a big bugaboo for them early in the season. Showed up last week. Now we've seen it again in this half. Some of the unforced errors when they have things going. It's where you really need to hone back in on your techniques and make sure you're not allowing things to get off rails.
180! 180!
Good pocket for Bahar. Completion underneath. Not much there, though, out to the 38-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and long. 3rd down and 13 coming up. Justin Hall with the reception. Game always going to have ebbs and flows, and that's the offensive coordinator, Eric Price, for the Gamblers. They had a lot of ups in their recent positions. Been down a little bit here.
There we go. Gun flat right close. 22 pink bump. Orlando at shallow.
Well, you'll have one shallow route there. There should be a one-on-one matchup on the outside. We'll see if Kenji Bahar goes back into attack mode, seeing one-on-one coverage.
Flushed out to his right, back up the middle, has some room to keep it. Work to do across the 40 and struck at the 45 down to the 47-yard line. A little bit short. Greg Iceworth, the safety, keeps that to a gain of 9.
And Kenji Bahar looked more hesitant to me on this series after the interception.
Earlier in the third quarter, the Breakers trailed by 7, but the last 2 touchdowns belong to that New Orleans offense. Last one after the interception from the D. Plenty of fireworks in that third quarter. We head to the 4th with New Orleans leading 24-17. Philadelphia. 3 games left to go. You can catch them, the families of NBC, throughout the weekend. McLeod Bethel Thompson, quarterback from New Orleans, last finished 17 out of 22. And you know what he is, Anthony, his last 22 tosses today?
What is he?
72.
Not half bad.
Towering punt inside the 10, and the fair catch made at line. Bethel's last pass back of the end zone to Johnny Dixon, right on the money. That was his second touchdown of the third quarter. The first went to his tight end, Sage Surratt. He is the leading receiver in this game with 8 for 79 yards.
Backed up here, the edge of the Gamblers defense was actually really effective getting into the pocket. Raheem Bingham will continue to impact the game.
Bethel top the fourth quarter last week, needing to come from behind, and they finally got the go-ahead touchdown late, trying to build on a 7-point cushion. Play action near his goal line, across his body. Well done. Who else? Sage Surratt, his 9th catch. Not enough for a first down, but he does 7 yards.
Not a chunk play, but it does give you a little bit of breathing room coming away from your own end zone.
I'm switching. You're right. Hey, go on. 98-4. Right.
Bethel Thompson's been in the Campbell team, 6 different teams. He's been in the CFL the last 5 years. Hands off to Hills, off to the right. Houston defense is there to set up 3rd down. He's learned so many systems in the last 12 years. John Deep does. We only had 3 weeks at camp, but it was no big deal to that 34-year-old because the last 12 years learning different offenses every fall.
Flip bringing all the NFL verbiage, all the NFL schemes and personnel with him to this offense, but McLeod Bethel Thompson not the only one who needs to digest it. He's got a page with his receivers, his offensive line for their landmarks.
I didn't like that call there. I called timeout, but I called
self-assessment
like
from
call.
Flip.
That was a quick clock, wasn't it?
As you can hear, he didn't like that call. He's going to come up with a new one. We'll see a bit of the story. 2011 to 2016. Look at that NFL journey, in and out of buildings, in and out of squads and rosters. And then he found stability in the CFL. He's been with Toronto the last 5 years, leading passer in that league each of the last 2, and the quarterback to lead his team to the great season as well. Retreating, back foots. Want to jump there on 3rd down and 6. He was double covered to bring up 4th down.
We saw more of that first quarter from Chris Wilson, the Gamblers defensive coordinator, where they just brought heat, especially when the Breakers were just bring that additional slot pressure and force McLeod Bethel Thompson to extend the play. Quick decision.
Chris Wilson, defensive coordinator for Houston. He also has a connection with Filippo, the head coach of the Breakers. They were on the staff together in Philadelphia in 2017. You won the Super Bowl in Minneapolis. Matthew White from his own 1. All touchdown, final minute of the 2nd quarter, sidestep. He made the 32-yard line. Lewis is on the Houston sidelines.
All right, I've got the head coach here, Curtis Johnson. Out of your quarterback and the rest of this team, the rest of the quarter.
Just need a good drive, some ball control, because they're a very good offense. They playing good defense too. We just got to beat man to man.
All right, Coach, thank you.
See if the Breakers defense, led by coordinator John Tenuta, who was also here last year, plays some man-to-man. They go zone to start. TJ Pledger. Daylight inside, 40 and out to the 45-yard line. Jerry Outler, free safety with the tackle, gain of 14.
On the interior, we've seen Houston doing a nice job. Nick Buchanan at the center position. I like the burst. Once TJ Pledger got his eyes turned downhill, he's very decisive on this particular. I feel like there's been a couple of these opportunities earlier in the game to maybe get a little bit more running north.
Curtis Johnson said he loved how hard his running backs ran last week.
Hey, Mike 20. White 80, son.
Tried again, other side to Pledger, another first. This time inside of New Orleans territory. Elder again, 2nd consecutive play. The free safety has to make the stop, and another gain of 14.
Just spent his entire college career with multiple programs who love to run the football majority of that time with the Sooners, and finished up with Utah as he receives the ball. You see how quickly he be run vertically. That's why the edge defender gets a hand on him but can't bring him down, because he's getting more north a lot more quickly now.
Average just inside of 6 yards per carry, carrying the football at Utah and Oakland. Cut back there. Well, he is having himself a drive. 15 yards he had in the previous 2, Anthony, but he'll take 6 anytime.
No Devwah Whaley. We've talked about Thompson today as well. The 2 more physical ball carriers, frankly, not in action. And so the entire rushing attack is on TJ Pledger. We've seen Eric Price. He's gone away from that role. Terry Wilson coming in at quarterback because the Breakers had a beat on it.
Pledger leading rusher now thanks to this drive. 16 carries for 86 yards.
180. 180.
They fake it to him. crossing route. Bullseye. First down on the 25. Anthony Ratliff-Williams, who was in short motion to the left, crossed to the right for 11.
Kenji Bahar in rhythm at this point, and it's led just like Curtis Johnson told Lewis. You watch him here off the play, just put the ball quickly into the belly of the back, and then his eyes immediately shoot down the field. A good, decisive in rhythm. When Kenji Bahar holds the football, we saw how negative that can be for the offense, leading to turnovers.
The term clean pocket a lot. They should just show a picture of that pocket right there. First and 10 from the right back to the air. Another clean pocket, another completion. Pleasure out of the backfield near the 20-yard. Late flag came into the backfield. See if that gain of 3 stands.
51. Okay. So what we have is a chop block on 72-51 here. 51 went low on 72.
And it is confirmed. Good call.
Personal foul. Chop block by the offense, number 72-51. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Call goes against right guard Jordan Steckler.
Between Steckler and the right tackle, Natai Rogers, they run a twist stunt, and as the interior defender is twisting around Reggie Howard, it wasn't on purpose. Rogers was preparing to cut block legally the defensive end. As he's going into a cut block motion, the defensive tackle ended up working out towards the outside and got his legs rolled up.
Call actually goes against Natai Rogers, the right. But now it's first down 25. We'll see if they can get a little back. Bahar only buying time. 2 penalty markers make it 3 come out just as the ball.
And I'm going to have a UNS on 5th hunt.
Okay, so you go ahead.
All the stuff they've been talking to us. Hey, stop. Are you about to go?
We got a legal blindside block.
So they got to accept just one of them.
Go 15 for the blindside.
Block, and that was behind the line of scrimmage.
Number who?
And you're going to...
Is that number
74?
Hey, guys, get in here and break this up.
74.
Got you. We have 2 fouls on the play. One live ball. Both will be enforced. Personal foul, blindside block, number 74, 15-yard penalty. After the play,
the taunting is declined. Taunting is
offense
declined.
Number 51,
you can't enforce both.
That be declined by rule. This is 51's first foul that leads towards disqualification.
Good job.
TV timeout? TV timeout? Yeah, timeout.
There's a lot there to work through. It was a play that got extended quite a bit. Well, got to hear some of Mike Pereira talking to the officiating crew. The illegal crackback block, that's the live ball foul that you hear the officials talking through. Then they also ruled that Natai Rogers had a dead ball foul for taunt to that block was made.
Tough go for the Gamblers since that interception. They've had 5. They'll be back. Houston head coach Curtis Johnson not happy about what just happened. Let's go to Los Angeles and bring in the directing for the USFL, Mike Pereira. On that last sequence, Mike, there were 2 penalties called against the Gamblers. What did you see?
Yeah, and both correct calls. You had a blindside block that is clearly a blindside block, and then at play you had a taunt against the same team. In NFL rules, those are just considered multiple fouls. Don't enforce both. So if you accepted the live ball foul, then it becomes actually 1st and 5, and that's what they did, and just had to decline the taunt.
And Mike, thanks for the explanation. Anthony, I know you explained it as well just before the break, and things getting awfully chippy down there on the field. Meanwhile, the offense of the Gamblers trying to get some of that yardage back. They get out to the 43-yard line to the back out of the backfield. Does a nice job of getting 13.
On that previous play, Paul, where it can get a little tricky offensive line is because you had the quarterback, Kenji Bahar. He extended the play wide to the field to the right, then ran back. They're trying to maintain blocks, and so the pocket no longer exists, but the angle of the defender of his pursuit still indicates where you can still pick up a penalty flag. So an accurate call from Larry Smith's crew.
Here comes a blitz. Deep down the right side, a bit too much, and a late flag comes in as it falls incomplete to T.O. Redding.
Pass interference. Defense, number 14. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
That's Neville Clark. John Tenuta said that's the best corner on this side this year. Of course, he doesn't agree with it. We'll take a look.
Ooh, you see that left elbow up? He's got the tug with the right hand.
That's more of a hold than a tug.
I would say so, yeah. But you can tell Houston certainly has felt for several quarters now. They have an advantage with their receivers versus the opposing defense. When they get man coverage, they want to get into attack mode.
Curtis Johnson still upset about the penalties and the lack of discipline for his team. Penalty. They had more than 40 yards to go for a first. That gives them an automatic first down.
Wide 80. Wide 80, son.
Pledger back to the right side. Brought down just as he crossed the 25-yard line by outside linebacker Justice Reed, gain of 5 yards.
And that, which you reference, different in the USFL, where it's the only reason that ends up being a spot foul is because the ball tracked 15 air yards down the field. The defensive back continuing to hold the jersey on purpose was ruled that that's a spot foul as opposed to just a 15-yard penalty like some others would be.
And all the pass interference reviewed back in Los Angeles. They could make it a spot foul or do with it what they'd like. One of the rules here in the USFL. Second down 5 off the back foot and nobody there. Greg Eisworth, the safety for New Orleans, was the closest there.
Love how decisive Kenji Bahar is right now. Let's get a play call.
Gun bunch left, 23 paint, F cash. Gun bunch left, paint, F cash.
We're going gun bunch left, 23 paint, F cash. On one, ready? You spent all your money last year.
So normally cash ends up being a side adjustment based off the depth of this.
180. 180, son.
The wide open Cash was the right call and a good leap. Down near the goal line, the ball comes out. And a late touchdown is called. Justin Hall with over Jerry Elder. And Houston's back to within 1. Every scoring play is reviewed. We'll see if Hall actually got in.
Played so deep, Paul, that the side adjustment there for Justin Hall was he broke his route off short. If they would have come up and been in position, then the adjustment would have been Justin Hall ran past him to receive it on more of a post. There just comes on a quick slant. Bahar got the football in his hands and his playmaker made the rest.
All right, Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles taking a look here at this
so
call
we're
that
looking
was
at the
called.
level, huh? Larry, what we're looking at is the left elbow here. We do have a shot down about the 1 yard line, and the elbow hits, you can see, tough call to make on the field, is short. So we're going to have to, we'll reverse this, him down at the, about the 2 foot line, and it'll be first goal at the 2 foot line.
After review, the ruling on the field is the runner was short of the goal line. It will be first from the 2 foot line on the left hash.
Heard it all there from Mike Pereira and watched it. Still a wonderful effort from Justin Hall to set up first and goal inside the 1.
I don't know. Mike Pereira, was that clear and obvious? That was return it? I mean, you got the harsh glare of expectation on you right now, buddy.
I actually looked at it. Even though he had a player in between, you could see the edge of the ball that was still behind the player, so you short, and that was enough for me.
TJ Pledger. Extra effort did get him in. Mike might have another one to look at here. I'm not quite sure anywhere. Kenji Bahar's off to the sideline, but let's see if he got across the stripe.
On the field as a touch.
I'm struggling just like you. So
I'm just taking a look. So far, I don't see a lot. Still looking. Stay with me for a second, Larry. Can I see this again? This shot. Boy, it's really close. You see with that before the knee gets a little extension. Larry, this is one of those I'm going to leave. It's so close. I don't have enough that's clear and not return. So I'll stay with touchdown.
What are we doing? Ruling on the field of a touchdown.
And it's so close. Moment's notice there.
Tie off into the call on the field. Call on the field was a touchdown. Now that's to tie it up here. Yes, that barely snuck in. Can Mike take a look at that too? Okay, extra point is good. Pledger did get across the line, and McLeod Bethel now has work cut out for him. The Gamblers were getting oh so close, and this was he in. Did he get it across? The call on the field was yes. Mike Pereira agrees. The point just snuck in that right upright. 6:42 left in the game, and we're all tied at 24. Vote for the USFL Players of the Week. Every Monday, the @USFL Twitter account will tweet out a poll featuring these for offensive, defensive, and special teams Players of the Week. Winners will be announced every Tuesday. I know we have 3 games left to go here on the weekend. One on Fox, one on NBC, one on FS1. I think we have some strong candidates today.
I voted last week. I don't know what you did on Twitter, but I certainly made my vote.
Who'd you vote
Twitterverse. Offensive Player of the Week. I voted for McLeod Bethel Thompson.
Starts this drive 18 out of 27, 170, couple of touchdowns, no picks. And a tie, 6:42 left. Johnny Dixon, touchdown today across the 30 and 35. Just as he was getting into high gear, goes down at 3-yard line.
We heard Curtis Johnson earlier tell Lewis Johnson for a takeaway. He's got to find a way to get his team to get the football away from MBT. This New Orleans, it's
Bethel Thompson hasn't thrown a pick yet this year. Playoff game, Grey Cup in the CFL. Didn't throw an interception in either one of those 2 games either. Wes Hills patiently off the left side, doesn't find much there. Getting tackled at the 46-yard line, gain of 2.
Well, it's almost like they just heard about there, Paul, because so many of the tackles for the Gamblers defense up to this point have been one-on-one tackles, and that's a part to Wes Hills getting a lot of these yards after contact. When you can gang tackle, chance for the second guy to get a strip.
Wes Hills 15 carries for 84 yards. To the air, in rhythm. In stride to Sage Surratt. A strike on the seam route, get to the 23-yard line. Outside linebacker T.J. Tyler with the stop to 32 yards.
You see that receiver background from Sage Surratt with the way he gets off the line of scrimmage. Great stem to keep his width, and that's why it's difficult for the safety to get
from the pocket to the play action. Bethel Thompson just dumps that one away to live to see second down.
Complete. 2nd and 10 at the 23.
On that skinny ball, and you've thrown a bunch of them in your past, the receiver has to keep his width just wide enough. After you make the release, you want to make sure the stem that you have keeps you wide enough where the quarterback can deliver it between defenders. If he goes too far towards the inside, he's setting himself up to get cut in half by the safety.
When you have a good tight end with a linebacker turning and chasing him, it's hard to keep the smile off your face. Looking to his left, Wes Hills out of the backfield across the 20, cuts it up, and keeps his feet down to the 11-yard line. Another first down for the Breakers. They're once moved after a pickup of 11 yards.
Smooth rhythm to the passing attack here, and the pass protection hold up better. I mean, Raheem Bingham, he's got a spin cycle, everyone trying to block him, but he can't get home because there's so much of a wide variety of looks he's getting from the pacing, the pocket movement of the Breakers.
Sage Surratt had 5 100-yard games. Worst in 2019. He's over 100 today. Wes Hills is inside the 5 and down to the 3-yard line.
You can tell it's in a rhythm when he gets up with a little dance, a little shimmy.
And a flex.
Oh, yeah. And the offensive line is sensing that as well. This power play where Paul Adams plays, he essentially becomes a lead blocker for Hills.
Pledger and Hills have been going back and forth. Rusher in this game. Hills just passed him. He has 93 yards. And he's standing on his 10-yard line. Across the 5, head down and into the end zone. Touchdown New Orleans.
That drive was a thing of beauty up front. An easy work for the New Orleans offensive line, but they've been really effective in this game. Paul Adams, Jack Kramer, Kirk Kelly, they've been putting in work.
So Hills hold up 3 fingers there, 3 touchdown runs. Extra point is up and in from Matt Coughlin. New Orleans back to a 7-point cushion, leading 31-24.
It's interesting, Paul, strategically, where you don't have to go for the point after try as a one-pointer. At some point, you wonder if, because New Orleans offense has been active in the red zone, if that factors into some of the decision-making here on point after try. Maybe they go for 2, presuming they've got a better chance to make their 2 than the opponent, or they go for 3, a true offensive play from there. Strategically, that's the type of thing coaches in the USFL will have access to.
Top 2 running backs for the Breakers, led by that man right there. Wes Hills have combined to go over 100 yards. Jones, 21 carries for 107. Bethel Thompson, 20 out of 2 games in, Anthony, but you can see the identity starting to form for John DeFilippo. They want to pass a little than they run, but they're not going to forget about the ground game.
It helps even the most experienced backs in the world, Paul. You talk through the resume of McLeod Bethel Thompson in his mid-30s. He's been around the block imaginable, but to have an offensive line in a run game, it makes his job that much easier.
Gamblers average every step of the way, going back to late in the second quarter. And they'll have at least one more chance to do so. Alexander, little spin move. That worked well out to the 40-yard line. And again, best kickoff return of the day. Nifty. Out to the 50-yard line. Return of 33 yards.
I gotta say, Paul, I didn't think that was gonna go so well when Deontez Alexander began it. He telegraphed it a bit. The move took a little while to execute, but it was almost like an illusion. It was like an 8-second spin move, and then it was like a sundial went around in the shadow, and no one knew where he was.
And then he was still on his feet. I was surprised they're out near the 50. Well, he recognized now that's not a good place. Really well done.
Not so quickly, but he got there.
And so now is Kenji Bahar will take over at the 50-yard line.
More great field position for the Gamblers. The excellent field position has been there throughout the game. They've done a more and more effective job capitalizing on that field position since the second quarter.
Second quarter started 0. Both teams scored 10 points. Tied at halftime at 10. We've been back and forth in the third and fourth quarter. And the Gamblers now with a chance to come back in time.
Look over at Paul. I say field position. A second later, boom, there's field position.
TJ Pledger with Thompson, who was ejected from the game for coming onto the field and shoving a breaker. It's been all Pledger. 18 carries for 92 yards. Bahar, nice pocket, deep down the right side. What a catch at the 20. Anthony Ratliff-Williams has a touchdown in this half, and that's over 33 yards.
They've got some go-getters on the outside. Gamblers. It feels like less of a gamble as a quarterback, even though receiver Anthony Ratliff-Williams. He hasn't declared himself open. He hasn't truly separated from the defensive back. But Kenji Bahar puts it right over the ear of Neville Clark. Ratliff-Williams goes and snaps.
He's approaching 100 yards, 4 grabs for 95 yards. Going to that side, Bahar keeps it himself. Stiff arm doesn't work, and he is torn down at the 18-yard line. Jordan Brailford.
Kenji Bahar still so young development. He's been with the Ravens like we talked about a little bit earlier, and now just getting accustomed to this often. Remember, it was Kevin Sumlin's offense a year ago when he was the Gamblers quarterback. So now Curtis Johnson's come in with their system. The more he plays the game, you see the natural talent, the decisiveness being as a quarterback.
Ready? Mike 4.
17 out, it's for 249.
180, son.
Quickly gets rid of it, complete down yard line, spin move inside the 5, and inside the end zone for Justin Hall. 9-yard touchdown, and it's a 1-point game.
He's a monster.
It's in Hall at 5'8", 189. Or is that Marshawn Lynch? How many rivers can go beast mode like this? Again, another decisive pass from Kenji Bahar, and you hit a receiver. Right, the ability to run after catch. We've heard some talk of stiff arms throughout this game here.
Hey, an extra credit for a difficult catch because, as we just saw, that ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, Anthony. Right. Important extra point here to tie this one up. And no doubt, it's left. And we are locked up at 31. Justin Hall, touchdown catches on the day and over 100 yards receiving. Watch this ball, tipped at the line of scrimmage. No issues for Hall, comes back to get it. Had a lot of work to do to get to the end. That work was done. Extra point was also good. And we are all tied at 31 minutes left in Birmingham. Coming, and right now we're all tied at 31.
We're seeing a couple of offenses on their game, but credit to adjustments made by ICE, the Gamblers offensive play caller, to, of course, John DeFilippo, head coach and offensive play caller for the New Yorkers. They've made some of these adjustments we've referenced, getting the quarterback in rhythm on time. Now it's expanding attack.
And no penalties. You're seeing that right. The kickoff just from the 20-yard line to promote more returns. Johnny Dixon, his 10. Out to the 30. And backs his way out to the 30. And that's where 34-year-old quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson will begin. You saw last week he was in a similar spot, needed a game-winning drive, didn't miss, fired a pass to his running back Anthony Jones for the winner. And now he starts this one on the 30s line, 1:53 left, all tied at 31. His tailback, Wes Hills, 17 carries for 96, right to the air. Quickly out of his hands, Sage Surratt is tied in, already over 100 yards. Short the 41-yard line, Kalen Tolson with the stop.
Raider! Lucky 44, start with 18, here we go. Hey!
Breakers with 2 timeouts left. Standing in, throwing to the line, way over the head of his intended receiver, Johnny Dixon, to bring up 3rd down.
This early in the season, short going no huddle, very impressive.
Hey, let's go wristband 36. You got the Sparrow X shallow.
Two jet Sparrow X shallow halfback wide.
Got to go to the wristband for those looks. See if it's a good one here on 3rd down and 6. 4-man rush. Out of the backfield to Hills to the 40 and out to the 42. You'll be well short. Solid tackle by the safety, Andrew Surratt, gain of 1. Goal.
God dang it. That's why I was talking. Yeah, that's why I called you. Did we get a good mesh? Dang it.
Can you?
Right, we got man, right? That's what we call the freaking play. Son of a gun.
John DiFilippo really wanted to feel like he could go for it, but on his own territory tie game, got to punt it away.
So when you heard him ask, did we get a good mesh? It's because he knows they were in bridge on the back end. They tried to run a crossing route, and you're hoping that with that mesh concept, someone will break. McLeod Bethel-Thompson didn't like what he saw, so he fed it down to the back.
Matthew White from his own 30, short, going toward the right sideline, way out of bounds. Justin Hall had no chance. We'll see where they won.
White's out of bounds.
And they're still walking away across the 30-yard line and out to the 32. It's where Kenji Bahar will begin. He's 18 out of 27, 267, 3 touchdowns and 1 pick.
You got the Harvey? Go. All right. Everyone gun trips right. Hank spinner, halfback burst on 1-on-1. Ready?
It'll be a safe completion. It starts off with for Kenji Bahar.
It may be one. It may be cover one.
Oh, my 4, ready?
Cover one would be man with a free safety playing center field. Bahar, nice pocket, throws low and going down to get it, but not coming up with it is Josh Peterson. Late flag did come in the backfield.
Roughing the passer, number 90 of the defense, yes. Felt like he could. Number 90 felt like he could have held up. He went and drove him right into the ground.
Drove him onto the ground, but he's on the side of him. That's the thing. He falls side. I'm going to take a look at this. Is it late? That's the first thing. It is kind of late.
No, don't have it late. I just have him, could have held up and chose not to.
I think, Larry, it's all one act and he comes to the side. That's my problem with this. Still think it's a bit late. So I'm going to stay with the late and that. So we'll stay with the call.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. It's number 90. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic, first down.
Think of how many fans, viewers in other leagues hope that they get the opportunity for what we just there. All personal fouls reviewed in the USFL. So you hear Mike Pereira back in the command talking to Larry Smith, going through whether or not they want to keep that call on. Multiple versions were possible. They just personal foul on.
Ball intercepted at the 25-yard line. Coming back the other way is Jerry Elder, just inside of Gambler's territory. Bahar's second interception of the second half is a one.
And Paul, I've been using the term decisiveness, where Kenji Bahar's at his best here. He throws with patience, the inside release from Justin Hall. Then Hall gets tripped by the defender Stevens as he gets tripped. Referees apparently believe that was incidental contact. Ball sails over the secondary, and then that leads to Jerry Elder coming up with the pick.
He hadn't have gone down there, Anthony. It looked like it was
Justin Hall's 5'8".
Going right to Elder anyway. Okay, so 58 seconds left. Wes Hill's the tailback, but right to the air off the back foot. Touch pass, and pass it is. Down to the 14-yard line is Lee Morris. Feathery touch leads to a big gain of 34 yards.
Confidence necessary to play and complete that pass.
And Lee Morris stays down on the... His first catch, and this is so well done by Bethel-Thompson. Just gets out the sand wedge, lifts it up high. Couldn't place it any better.
Maybe a little backspin on it as well. Into the waiting hands of Lee Morris. Felt like maybe there's some helium in the football because of the feathery touch of MBT. That's a big moment, Paul. I mean, and you know where a lot of times the quarterback maybe a drop because the intensity of the moment takes over. But the cool, collected nature of MBT, able to throw the touch pass to Lee Morris III.
It's a passer's pass, and it puts the Breakers in the driver's seat, setting up for a field goal. May have a kicker in Matt Coughlin, who's 6 out of 6 this season.
Ford Willie. Here we go. Sunday.
I formation, West cuts it back, and he will run inside the 5. Will he score? Got to the goal line, touchdowns.
Looked like he thought about it for a moment.
He
right?
did. He thought him down, and I wonder if he was asked to go down, if he was bought. The hesitation led to the touchdown, and a 6-point lead for New Orleans. 2 seconds left.
Strategically, tie game this late. A lot of times defenses will call that you let the offense score. I don't believe that's what Houston was doing there. But as the clock's running down, opportunity for New Orleans to finish the game as the last team with the football. Now about seconds will remain when Houston gets the ball back.
High snap, good hold, Matt Coughlin for the rest. So the lead is back to 7 points for the Breakers. And West Hills considered ground that would have led to, you knew what would have come at that point, a couple of knees on the ball and the field goal. And again, you have a kicker in Matt Coughlin, who was 5 for 5 in week 1. 1 for 1 today, so that would have been a good strategy. It's also hard to make yourself go down when you're that open.
Right, and a lot of conversations happen more once you get inside the 10, inside the 5, and you're thinking the opposing defense definitively let you score. It did feel that there was a bit of hesitation. In the least, he knew he wanted to run some clock and then decided to go ahead and put it in the paint. I mean, you can do worse things than to give your team the lead late in the 4th quarter, but strategically, with the chunk plays that have been picked up by the Houston Gamblers over and over again, you do wonder, there's enough time remaining for the Gamblers to get back in this game.
Looked like he was going to go down, but then came at him, and his instincts were to go.
Going across the field. Now just beware of the back safety, and if he is, you got the hinge on the same side. That's fine, though. You just run by him. Run by the first. Get down.
Anthony Ratliff Williams from the 9. Cuts a 30. And out to the 41-yard line, and that's where we'll see Kenji Bahar. We'll see what he can do. Seconds left, down 7.
2 timeouts, Paul. This feels like plenty of time.
And you really have reason to believe that he could do this because he's had some tremendous moments. He's also interceptions here in this second half.
The time, the only thing is the time.
85.
Justin Hall's been his top. He wears number 17.
Ready.
180.
180.
4-man rush. Incomplete to Anthony Ratliff Williams to bring up 2nd down 10. It's 31 seconds left.
No flag on the play, and here we are at this stage of the 4th quarter. We get the clock stops on incomplete passes.
They've had success, Anthony, throwing short and over the middle with a run at, and with 2 timeouts left, they still have time to do that.
Lasso. Oh no.
Hey,
Mike 4. Down somebody.
Hey, down 20.
Yeah, box.
You go ready?
Box it.
180.
Nice pocket over the middle, intercepted. 3rd pick of the second half, and a late flag comes in as well. Linebacker Vontae Diggs.
It did appear the flag came after the takeaway. So after the change of possession, regardless of what the flag is, it would seem that New Orleans will maintain possession.
Copy. What number, guys?
17.
Ruling on the interception.
Number 20. Number 20.
After the interception, during the return, personal foul, face mask by the intercepting team, number 27. 15, first down, New Orleans.
Nice play by the Levante Diggs. Kenji Bahar had so many quality series here. This has last 4 passes, 0 for 4 with 2 picks.
And Diggs, frame, 6'2", long arms. It's really difficult when you get into that zone coverage to be able to throw it out of a linebacker who's as deep as Diggs was in his drop.
McLeod, Bethel, Thompson, just T. Houston does have timeouts, but they won't take them. The final seconds will tick off. Just like week, the Breakers needed a late touchdown to take the lead, and that's exactly what they did. DiFilippo and New Orleans moved to 2-0. Houston heartbroken at 0-2.